Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. Um, if you haven't met me, my name is Richard Garcia. Um, it's wonderful to be talking to all of you who've checked out my website and found my YouTube channel. There's not much on here right now, but as time goes by, I do plan on uploading a lot more better produced videos. This is just a simple intro to my YouTube channel. I do plan on uploading things like podcasts, debates that I'm going to. The whole debate thing, it depends on whether other candidates want to debate me, but I'm running for ATU Local 1433 President Business Agent, and I do plan on running with others that I need to replace the current the current officers that are sitting on those seats. And the reason why I can't run by myself is because if I win the election, it doesn't mean anything. I need to stack those officer seats with people who are going to share the same values as not only me, but all of our fellow ATU members. And not even just that, I'm talking about all the employees in all the management companies, ACI, Raptidev, Transdev, and all the other management companies. I don't have the list in front of me right now, but there are a lot of other companies, and we need to represent all of them when it comes to not only the review boards, but when it comes to the contract, and that's mandated by law. So without and don't let anybody tell you that they're allowed to discriminate against you because you're not a member in any kind of way. So our union has to represent you without discrimination. And that was a key clause in the law, without discrimination. So if somebody tries to tell you that we don't have to send you our best or some other nonsense, that is a form of discrimination, because they're basing the way they represent you on whether or not you're a member. So that being said, this is not, by the way, an indictment of the way that things are now. I've made the decision to not pursue any sort of, as much as I would like to, any sort of mudslinging between me and the current leadership. And so the way I'm going to go about this is I'm going to purely run on my ideas, and I'm going to run on helping other members understand that things the way they are now aren't the way they have to be going forward. So I laid on my website, you'll find all the facts. You'll find the union financials on there, the LM2 forms. Those are required by law as public record. So I'm not running on any sort of insider information or anything like that. I'm running purely on public information and things that not only members but anybody who wants to take a look, you have the right to look at these things. So, and not only because you're a member, but because you have the right to make an educated decision on whether you want to be a member. So educate yourself. And I'm going to talk about these forms, and how I think we could be doing a lot better. Now, again, I'm not very happy with what I've seen, and that's why I'm running. I really wish I didn't have to, and that our union was already, one that I would most desire for our union to be like. I would rather honestly just sit on a bus and do my job, collect money, and go home. But the problem is that for the next 5 years, according to our contract, I'm going to be making nearly the same wages. And with what I've seen, and this is why I decided to look into things to begin with, is because of how poor the contract is. And I'm just not happy at all with the contract. I signed it because, this is no doubt I'm good at this job and I don't get myself in trouble. I stay compliant. I do what I'm supposed to do and I go home. But when I'm having problems with not only trying to get overtime because I can't afford to live off of the 40 hours they offer us here, that's when, and then you can't even get a second job. See, this is where you start narrowing my path, is where it's like, you're not allowed to get a second job because it may interfere with this job. You're not allowed to work the amount of overtime that you need to survive because it may not be available and everyone's scratching at the walls for it, right? So, and then, I've gone weeks without overtime and they were rough. And I know everybody else is feeling the pinch too. If I'm feeling the pinch, I know everybody else is. And don't even get me started with the benefits, but we're just going to talk about this for a second. When I can't work a second job, I can't work overtime, the amount that I need every month to bring home a living wage, and I can't. And the third one was that I can't. I can't make a living off of 40 hours. Then that's where I start having a problem, and that's when I start looking into what I can do, because I'm used to working 70 hours a week. That's my preferred. Like I work close to my 70 as much as possible. Not all, like in other truck driving jobs, over the road, you work that for the same pay as you're getting here. So, not to say I don't appreciate this job. I do. I love it, and I think Transdev is an amazing management company compared to others. I've worked for many other transportation companies, and a lot of them they're horrific. But Transdev has been nothing but good to me. Management has been nothing but professional and nice, and they've always treated me very nicely. They've always educated me on things that I didn't know very nicely. I try not to talk to OCC, as I'm sure many other people would agree. But that's because I'm just trying to do my job and go home. So a lot of times I don't need to talk to OCC. But, my OCC experience has just been no straps and tag the camera. So, but I started looking into this whole union thing. I didn't know anything about unions before I came here. And I started looking into this whole union thing. I started looking at the NLRB, the National Labor Relations Board. I started looking at I think it's the OLSM or something like that. They're the cops on the block for that agency, and I started looking at the Bill of Rights, the rights we have as union members, especially because look, I'm bringing home $1,000 a week with overtime. Now I could skate by with that. I could get the bills paid and stuff, but and struggle a little bit. That's not enough food for on the table. I could probably do DoorDash or something on the side. Who knows? But that's without benefits. That's without benefits. I'm making $1,300 a week, which is more than truck drivers would make starting, which is great. You know, I'd rather be here at home with my family, get to see them every day, not over the road. You know, there are perks to this job, especially with the management companies here, as great as they are, but my beef isn't with them. My beef is with the union. And the reason why is because on my homepage, I posted their financials. I posted their, I posted where all of our money's going. I'm paying dues, $32.50. They just raised those. And you know, I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt that they voted on it. And like I said a little while ago, I'm not gonna chase them down. I'm not gonna. I've been pressuring them because I want them to get us a better contract this time around. I've been pressuring. That's as far as it's gonna go, unless they want to start slinging dirt. They want to try to attack me personally or get me fired. At that point, I'm gonna have to start, you know, sending in some of the facts and evidence that I have based off of the law and stuff like that. So, but I've been going through the NLRB, the Bill of Rights that they wrote for union members. It gives you all kinds of rights to protect you against the union, because the union is supposed to be representing you, and the money that you give them is supposed to be used to represent you. And money has power. Don't get it twisted, because if you ever look at the state of our country and how it's evolved, and the capitalism and and money talks, bullshit walks, and don't let them try to marginalize you. Don't let them try to dismiss you or make you feel like you're overreacting, because in all honesty, from what I've seen with these financials and where all of our money is going, you know, quick side note, and the reason why I keep hounding on the money is because on this side note, I'm going to tell you something, that there was a court battle between an organization funded by corporations called the Citizens United. And in this court case, Citizens United, they fought for the right for not only corporations but for unions to say, hey, my money is my voice. And that was against the Federal Election Commission, the FEC. And they fought the FEC and they won. And now, legally, your money is your voice. And when you look at your paycheck and you see that $32.50 taken out of your paycheck every week, that's your voice. That's you saying, hey, here's my money, now you need to represent me. And there are 2,000 of us. You do the math. That's 3 million a year, maybe more. I'm pretty sure there's more members now, because that 2,000 was last year. And I'm gonna take a look at the new LM2 forms when they come out in 2025. So Your money is your voice, and when you look at where your voice is going, it ends in the pocket of the few people up top. Look at those LM2 forms. The fact of the matter is that our union leaders are driving up expenses. They're driving up expenses, and they're paying a ton of money every year on payroll taxes and payroll. And so they're legally allowed to do that, but they have to do it according to the bylaws. So, and this is why meetings are very important, because the meetings is where all of the bylaws get passed. The meetings are where all of the votes happen. So I think it's kind of funny the union put their building downtown with a very tiny parking lot. Go down there and look. You're not going to fit a lot of people down there. I think it's actually comical. There's nowhere to park. So I think the whole thing is a setup to not get anybody like, you'd have to take the bus there. You had to take an Uber or take the train, so the light rail. So not only that, but I think that the bylaws are very important, and if you elect me president and my team, you have to elect an entire team to replace them, because if I only get elected, nothing's going to change. You want to know why? Because I can get outvoted by the other members who are already sitting there, and I would not be able to get anything done. So that is why I'm running, and I'm running with a team, and we need to replace all of them. We need to replace all of them, and the way we're going to do that is, the only thing you have to do is make sure your vote gets counted. That's the only thing you have to do. Make sure your vote gets counted. If you get a mail-in vote, if you get it by mail, if you don't get your vote by mail, your ballot by mail, you need to go down there. And it's vital. I cannot tell you how important it is for you to vote in 2027. December 2027, you need to vote. And you need to vote for me and my entire team. And the reason why is because on my website, I lay out how we are going to change the meetings so that you have easy access to all the meetings on your phone, how we are going to do live stream voting so you can vote on your phone. And it's going to be member access only for ATU members for these meetings. We're going to upload every meeting, and you're going to be able to review old meetings, as far back as we can possibly store on the cloud, and probably all of them. And your money is going to be used to make sure that not only is your voice heard with management, the city, for your contracts, but your voice is going to be heard with our union. It is not their union. The officers, this union does not belong to them. They are our employees. We pay their salaries. And I've addressed how we're going to be able to get all that done. On my website, I explain everything, and I'm going to create more videos explaining what I've proposed on my website, so I can break it all down for you guys as easy as I possibly can. But if I were to put it in a few simple bulletins, it's going to be, your voice is going to be heard with the union. And how I'm going to do that is by making sure everybody has access to the meetings, no matter what your situation is. You don't have to drive down to that building downtown and look for parking, probably walk a half a mile from your parking space and pay for parking. because the parking lot's full or something, the 15 spaces they probably have, but or take the bus or anything like that. No, you're going to be able to pull out your phone and do it. And your vote, I'm going to have polling. I'm going to have polling where we're going to make sure that we know what's going through the minds of all of our members, where they stand on certain issues. On the member-only website, where you're going to have access to polling, to answer questions. I have a Facebook groups right now where I want to get your opinions, but I know there's going to be a lot of privacy issues. People don't generally want to release their own privacy, especially to their Facebook. So I understand that a lot of people don't want to do that right now. But you're going to have your own union account if you elect me, and you elect my running mates. You elect at least 3 of us so we can outvote whatever is left on the board, on the officers' seats. You're going to have a member-only account. You're going to have a member-only account. Everything's private server. So that's one bulletin of how we're going to get things done, discussion forums. We're going to start committees. So the first committee that I propose to start is one that's going to reverse all of the nonsense going on in those LMT forums. We're going to reverse all the useless waste and spending with our expenses. You can look at all of those. They're available on the Department of Labor website, but I've made it available on my website as a link to the Department of Labor website. And the bylaws are available. So we're gonna the first committee, we're gonna work on getting expenses down to near zero. And the reason that's important is because we need our union money. We need it so that we can spend it on things that matter, that are going to go to contributing on your return on investment. The idea is getting a better contract. Getting a better contract that's better work conditions, better benefits, better pay. Benefits meaning the FMLA. They let you, like, if you're having a baby, man, or your family's important, the FMLA provides you with rights to be able to take up to a certain amount of time off to take care of your baby, your newborn, go to the hospital and or whatever you need to do. So whatever you need to do in terms of family stuff, because your family's all you, like, I have a family, they're all I have, and I love them to death. So the reason why I work so hard every day. And I would love if I have when I have it, I'm having a baby in October, and when I have her, I want to be able to take that leave, the FMLA leave. But the problem is that it's not paid. So that's one thing we're going to do for benefits, is we're going to get you paid family leave. And I know exactly how we're going to do it, and we're going to need all the money. So how we're going to get expenses down so we can spend money on lobbying to bring more money in for operations, for payroll, for equipment, for the city and all of our programs. See, the reason why we can't get a good contract is because we're not putting in on it. We're just getting paid to drive the bus, which I think management, why should they pay us more when management and the city are doing all the groundwork? They're the ones going to Washington and making sure that our budgets that our money gets put into our accounts so that we can pay for all of these the light rail. All of that's on my website, where all of our money comes from. I've tracked it all, I've studied it all, and I've watched, and I've been the city of Phoenix, they got a YouTube channel where they post all of their council meetings, and you can go back and watch everything, man. And they talk about all this stuff too, and we should be too. We should be on board with them. Our agendas should be aligned, and we need to be helping bring more money in by campaigning with politicians, fundraising for politicians, and just playing the game the same way everybody else is playing it. And we could be bringing in hundreds of billions, even perhaps a billion or even more. It depends on, how well our plan works and how well we can get into political strategy. So with the ATU PAC committee, and I plan on investing $2 million a year if I can get your guys' vote on it democratically through the meetings. If we could all agree and vote that lobbying is the best way to bring money back into our contracts, so that we can have paid family leave, so that we can we can get $40-50 an hour, and keep all of our vacations and stuff like that, and our double time and a half and all that good stuff that we already have, which I think Transdev has been absolutely generous with, and I'm sure all the other management companies are quite generous too, for the situation that we're currently in with our, I have to say it, weak leadership. If you look at the LM2 forms, money says it all. The money says it all, and this video is going on a little bit longer than I planned, but I'm going to try to wrap it up. We're going to talk a lot more about this in the coming years here. We got 2 years until election day. I'm starting early. I want to win your guys' vote. I'm going to be out there at the layovers talking to everybody I can. I'm going to be going to Yuma. I'm going to be going to Tucson. I'm going to be doing everything I can, because we badly need influential leadership that's going to be able to do all of the things that I'm proposing. And I'm not doing this, because I'm trying to get paid more, because one thing I'm running on, and I am confident about my plan, so much so that I'm going to put my butt back in the bus, me and the other officers I'm running with. That's the first thing we're going to do, is we're going to work out a contract with management to get us back on the buses, working alongside our fellow union members, because not only is it important that we understand on a day-to-day basis what all of you guys are going through, but it's important that we get our expenses down, because I'm not about to spend $500,000 on payroll taxes and $500,000 on payroll and just get paid off the backs of my fellow members. That is not my plan at all. We're going to be back on the buses. We're going to be working for our own money, and I'm going to do everything in my power to get us there. As soon as I get into office, we're going to have a committee that's going to be dedicated to doing that, and we're going to work together to get it done, to work something out with all the management companies, and that way all of our money could be going to social programs to get the best contract compliance from all of our members. I'm going to try to work with management to make the training and hiring process a lot safer and better, and get more qualified people in here, because if I'm going to be working my ass off to run a committee that's going to be working around the clock to get, I got to drive a bus 40 hours and then 30 hours I'm going to be doing union committee work, busting my ass off every day, for the same pay I'm making now. And it's worth it to me, because I know that I can get us a good contract next go around when it comes due. And that's what I'm banking on, to get me and my family better pay, along with you guys. I want to bring everybody with me. It's not just going to be me, so, and all of this depends on our members going out and voting. You have to vote. It is critical. And your careers, everything If you're new, you come to this job and do this the transportation field, and you feel like you're really not getting a lot out of it. Okay, instead of quitting and going to go find another job that might pay you a couple dollars more, you might come regret it, because this job, I want to flood the transportation department with money from federal grants. I posted on my website where it comes from, how much, something like 108 billion dollars for the entire country in federal grants was available. We only brought in half a billion. I want to triple that. We're gonna do whatever. I've plotted out where the laws get written, who writes the laws, what House committees write the laws, what can we implement in those laws, what can we lobby for, with millions of dollars and super PAC money, campaigning for some of these politicians. Where and it's perfectly legal. It is 100% legal to campaign for politicians who share common interests with us, pro-worker interests, pro-union interests. We're going to campaign for them. We're going to campaign for them hard, and we're going to make sure that they retain their seats. We're going to do a lot of work. So, long story short, I got to cut this video off. I got to get back to work. But long story short is, if you want a good paying career, making six figures with great benefits, the best, Blue Cross Blue Shield, you need to vote for leadership. And if you're not part of the union, we need every single person, every single hard-working transportation driver, operator. We need you to join the union and vote, because it ultimately, it's up to you guys whether or not we get the leadership we deserve and that we so badly need. So go get out there and vote, please. I can say it 100 times. Make sure your vote is counted. And I've laid down the to-do list in my website, how to do it. Contact your nearest appointed steward, executive board member, and make sure your address is updated. And if you don't receive your ballot in the mail, drive. Even if you're in Tucson or Yuma, drive. Please get a ride, something. Go and vote. Do whatever it takes, because you're going to want strong leadership that's going to change your life completely. And we can do that democratically, legally, and yeah, so if you see me around, you see me out in the streets, I don't care. If I'm at Walmart or Ross, stop me, please, and we'll talk. And I really appreciate all of you guys. You're all very nice people. From my experience here, everyone's been great to me, and I really love this job, and I just want to make the most of it, with you guys. And hope to see you guys around. And yeah, get out there and vote.